The way coca leaf has been used throughout history is through chewing, using leaves, putting them in their mouth, and adding an alkaline agent as to extract the active principles of the leaves has been the traditional way of using the leaf throughout the last ages. The use of coca as the other main occurring use is as an infusion, as a tea, just adding hot water to the leaves and drinking it as a tea. That's the main use.
What's the size of this kind of traditional market today, and how is it supplied?
The estimates go around 3 to 4 million people that are currently still using coca in a traditional way. It has many formats. Let's say there's a social component to the use. There's a clear for the people who use it in a traditional way, it's a sacred leaf which allows them to communicate with their ancestors and with the spiritual world. But it's also and mainly a stimulant that will help invigorate the user to better produce, to be more concentrated on the work. It's been used for ages in the mines by the mine workers to be able to subsist under the soil and do really hard physical work. It's also used in agriculture. It's used by bus drivers and people who have night shifts that need to stay awake. As a mild stimulant.
Right, so it's a working drug, as it were, but it's also used in social contexts and in religious contexts.
Yes, it's also used in it's a very I mean, if in some regions of Bolivia, which I know best, when a couple gets married, they will get a coca plant as to help them have a successful and fruitful life. Yeah. And it's also used as a way of trading. So people who like on the local market, still it's used as a form of payment. If people want to have other agricultural products, they can use it. It's used as a social means, which you could call a recreative use, sitting together, talking, sharing, drinking, and chewing coca.
Right.
Yeah.
But what's fascinating, and which you've brought some examples of today, is the way in which coca is now being marketed and produced in new forms for new types of market. Could you sort of tell us a little bit about that?
Yes. Tea is mainly the most accessible way of using coca, which has a very big potential on the world market as a simple green tea used mainly as a digestive after dinner. That's the main use that the Andean people give to it. But apart from that, in the last 10-15 years, there's a new trend to use flour, coca flour, which is ground leaf, just as a flour, as an additional supplement to food. The richness of the coca it's very high in vitamins, in proteins, in phosphor, in minerals such as calcium and phosphor, and it has proved to be very useful for some particular uses in quite a small area. Actually, it's more the urban middle class Peruvian cities where it has really boosted as an industry, leading to such a weird situation that the price of the flour, just the simple grounded leaves, is higher than the money drug traffickers who buy the leaves to make it into cocaine, which is the other main use, as you know, is higher to pay for the flower than the people who want to make cocaine of it. So there's a real, let's say, an interest to use it in such a way that has proved to, for example, elderly who are allergic to the normal sources of calcium, such as milk. They can use Coca, and they are using now the Coca flour to add to their breakfasts, and it has really been proved to be very useful in their with their health problems that they have. So they can, yeah.
But this is a very different social context, isn't it? Because traditional chewing tends to be rural rather than urban. So this is kind of opening up a traditional product with a lot of sort of pride in its patrimony, but developing it as a contemporary sort of modern urban product for a different class of consumers.
Yes, and apart from the geographical divide, let's say urban and rural, it's also a class thing. It's been looked upon as a backward practice that mainly practiced by Indians and by the indigenous peoples, has been confused to cocaine, and now is entering up in this new middle class area and is being hailed as a success for many diseases and
right.